everyone, my name is Tiffany Garner, and for my book I read The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, a Leadership Fable by Patrick Lencioni. So for this book I wanted to give you a high-level overview of what it's about. This book is told as a fable, and the reason for this is Patrick Lencioni, who is the author of the book, wanted to tell it in a fictional format so people could relate to the characters, their experiences, and that way it was easier for you to learn the whole model behind the book. This model is the 5 Dysfunctions model, and throughout the book you will see Catherine walk her team through this model. So Catherine is the CEO of Decision Tech. She's newly appointed, and Decision Tech is an up-and-coming technology firm, and they're about only roughly 2 years old, and all of the investors thought that this company was going to be great, but they're really struggling, and Catherine is able to identify this as because their teamwork is poor and it's lacking. So when she comes to the company, she observes, and then she makes the team go to these off-site retreats to really build on their teamwork, and walk through this 5 Dysfunctions model. The team is very resistant at first, and the journey is not easy, but through ups and downs, the team really starts to understand the importance of the 5 Dysfunctions model, and they're able to come together as a team. Once they do this, the company really starts to transform, and Decision Tech becomes a market leader again. So you're probably asking, what is the 5 Dysfunctions model? This is the model that highlights the 5 dysfunctions a team can fall victim to, and these are the dysfunctions that really cause issues on a team. The model is interrelated, with the first dysfunction starting at the bottom layer and building onto the next layer. Each layer is its own dysfunction. Throughout the book, Catherine teaches her executive team at Decision Tech this model in an effort to overcome each dysfunction. This book may be set in the corporate setting, but the model can be applied to any team, even teams such as a sports team. The first dysfunction of a team is absence of trust. This is marked by team members who act invulnerable around each other. Team members need to be able to trust each other in order to speak their mind and be willing to ask for help. If we keep our guard up around our team, then we spend a lot of time playing a game by filtering our comments. This can lead to the second dysfunction, fear of conflict. When we don't feel like we can speak truthfully around our team, we allow this second dysfunction to thrive. We need to have constructive debate on our teams to really reach the best solution. We've all heard the saying, 2 minds are better than 1. It's really true. Also, if we have authentic debate, we're able to prevent the third dysfunction of a team, lack of commitment. We need debate so people feel like they are truly part of the decision-making process. Even if a decision goes against what you want, you are so much more likely to support it if your opinion is heard. This is known as disagree and commit, and this concept is so important on a team. Not everyone is going to agree, but the team needs to show collective support behind a decision. After all, it is a game changer when team members put aside their differences and do whatever they can to help a decision succeed. If team members do not commit to an idea or decision, why would they ever hold themselves or someone else accountable? Avoidance of accountability is the fourth dysfunction of a team. Most people find it hard to hold others accountable because they feel bad and uncomfortable, especially if that person is really nice or super helpful. And then if the person we need to hold accountable is resistant or causes a lot of problems, then we just don't want to deal with the confrontation. However, if you are part of a team, it is your job to do everything you can to make sure that team is successful. That is why we need to hold others accountable. And if your team has trust, they will understand it is a necessary evil. It is as Catherine, the CEO, said in the book, trust is knowing that when a team member does push you, they're doing it because they care about the team. The fifth and final dysfunction is inattention to results. This is the ultimate dysfunction where people put their individual success over the team success. Everyone needs to put the collective results of the team over anything else. This helps avoid distractions and behaviors that are only aimed to benefit the individual. This is how a team is truly successful. They focus on the near-term results for the team. So that is the 5 dysfunctions model. If your team is able to overcome these dysfunctions, you'll be unstoppable. It is as stated in the book. If you could get all the people in an organization rowing in the same direction, you could dominate any industry and any market against any competition at any time. My first big key takeaway from this book is that as a leader, we have to allow conflict to build conflict management skills. A lot of times there's that misconception that as a leader, you want your team to all get along, you want peacefulness, you want to mitigate arguments, you want everyone to be happy with everyone. And that's just not the case. You don't want to keep your team from having that healthy debate. Debate is healthy. And not only that, by allowing your team to debate, they're building their skills of debate and they're learning how to come to resolutions on their own. And another misconception is people think that it takes longer to let the debate play out. And that's not true, because as people get better and they get better at debating and their conflict management skills improve, then a lot of times letting it hash out is much faster because you're not holding anything back and you reach a resolution much faster. A good example of this, unrelated to the corporate world, but it translates really well, is parents who let their kids fight with their siblings. Those parents, their kids are a lot of times better at dealing with those situations. They know how to handle them. But the parents who are always peacemakers and they don't let their kids deal with things themselves, a lot of times those kids grow up and when their parents aren't around, they don't know how to handle situations. You need to allow that conflict so people can build those skills. My second key takeaway from this book is that having the right people on your team is essential. No matter what, if someone's not a team player and after working and trying your best to bring them up to speed, and at the end of the day, they just don't care about the team, those aren't people you want on your team, because one person who's not a team player brings everyone down. And even if that person's the most amazing person at their job, it doesn't matter. Because if it'll breed resentment among the other team members, and they're not working for the benefit of the team, they're working for the benefit of themselves. Think about it this way. If you have a boat and everyone's rowing in one direction, but then there's one person rowing the opposite way, it really slows the whole boat down. And we don't want that. They could be rowing super fast, but it only hinders the team even more. So really, I kind of learned that you can't just see people for their individual success. In the book, Catherine, the CEO, had to fire someone who was amazing at their job because they just didn't care about the team. And that was kind of a wake-up call for me, because I always thought that you just have to be good at your job. But you don't have to just be good at your job. You have to care about the people you work with, about the team, about collective results. My third key takeaway from this book is that a team needs one goal to work towards, one goal for the whole team that everyone can work towards. Catherine stated it very well. She said that if everything is important, then nothing is. That's why we need one goal, because if we have more than one goal, we have conflicting priorities. And when you have more than one thing to focus on, then you don't really exceed in one thing, but you just do fairly okay in everything. We want one goal so everyone can put their time and effort towards it. It's also easier to hold others accountable because you know where everyone's priorities are. So it's really important to have that one goal that really just measures the results of the team and that everyone can work towards. My favorite quote from the book is, "Politics is when people choose their words and actions based on how they want others to react, rather than based on what they really think." This was really a wake-up call for me, because I didn't ever see politics this way in an office place, and it made me realize and look around and be like, oh wow, maybe there's more politics than I realized. Catherine, the CEO of her company, had to enlighten the team and kind of tell them that, like, hey, you guys think that you guys don't have politics, but you do, because even though you don't debate a lot and you don't get in fights a lot, you're withholding what you really want to say because you're strategically thinking of how other people would react. And that's really what politics is. It's calculating your moves because you don't know because you want to be portrayed a certain way. This is why it's so important to have trust in your team, where you don't have to just filter everything you say and kind of just say things to based on how you expect other people to react. So I just thought that was really neat, because it made me re-see the way I see politics. And now I don't see it as arguing. I see it as calculating what you're going to say. And sometimes you might have politics in your life and you just don't even think about it that way. Thanks for listening to my presentation on 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. I really enjoyed this book, so I'm glad I got to share with you a summary and my key takeaways. I recommend anyone who's interested in becoming a more effective team member or leading a team to success to read this book.